What's good with the YouTube? You already know. This is Big Flacco from Felons to Men podcast, man. You already know how we do it on this channel. We give you guys a perspective, man, of a felon's perspective of life, re-entering society, readapting, and trying to face the challenges, the trials, the tribulations, as well as the joy of living a new and more meaningful life today. I think that's real important to emphasize in this channel. It's not just about adapting to changes; it's about embracing changes. And I got an interesting topic because there's been a lot of things that have been going on the other platforms and whatnot. And we don't try to overlap things that are going on too much in the prison genre or whatnot, but at times we have to. And I want to address reattaining your citizenship, becoming a civilian, becoming a law-abiding, tax-paying member of society, and no longer being influenced by the political realm of street politics and prison politics based upon your past affiliations and whatnot. Now, each group doesn't have its own different type of structure of how they deal with things, man. But as men, if you're not aligned to one of these organizations throughout the 50 states, your obligations are limited once you step out to the streets. And at that time, you should have the right to live your life as you choose. If you want to, associate with this person over here, that's your choice. Okay. Now you could maybe have some consequences to some extent, but at the same time, if you're living as a civilian in society and no longer under the dictates of any type of street politics, then it shouldn't really affect you as much. You have to make a choice where you stand in your life, not allow other people to still control you based upon the fact that you're on the streets. Because it's bad enough that when you go to prison, you have not only the guards telling you what to do, you have your own people telling you what to do. Who, what, where, when, why, what process you have to do, what procedures, have to fill out the screening processes and mandated yards and whatnot. Now that you're free, you should be able to have the ability to make choices for yourself and no longer worry about the ramifications that come from street politics. Once you get to a certain age, and you've decided to change for your life, you have to fully make that full commitment. You can't half-step it. You can't teeter-totter. You can't have two masters and serve at the same time. It doesn't make you not a man. That's not about that action. Trust me on that. But it makes you a man that can make his own choices and decisions. Never allow another man to influence how you feel or what you do. Okay. Now there's a thin line there. There may be some certain situations that you may not want to put yourself in or expose. That's why you keep everything close to the chest. You know what I'm saying? And look at it from a whole different analytical perspective of what's worked and what's not. And see where you're at. See where your loyalty is as a man. You know what I'm saying? Is your loyalty to your family? Is it to doing the greater good? Is it to being a better person? Or is it still to the same destructive things that led you to prison? Me personally, well, because of my choices, I'll never let another individual have control over who, what, where, when, why, or what I can do. I'm a citizen today. I'm a civilian. I have a past, that's both good and bad in the street world. You know what I'm saying? But besides, it doesn't matter what you've done all those years, because if you're still worried about what your image is, then you're worried about that titles and labels that come with that gang lifestyle. There comes a time where you put everything to the side and you focus on being yourself, a better person, a man, one who's doing the greater good in society by contributing to it, one that is raising young men and women to make proper choices, the same choices you made at one time that affected your life. So you can't walk both ways. You have to decide what's in it for you, what's of value for your family. Too often these gangs still have control over a lot of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? In different groups, or convict code and this and that. Well, if you're not living that life and you're not involved in that mix, and you keep a very low profile and are discreet about your activities, no one can question what you do on a day-to-day basis, man. That's the sad thing about life, is that the politics have infiltrated California so bad and have become so over saturated on the streets that everybody attaches labels to situations. You know, they don't attach friendships or relationships to them though, because at times we're making choices and decisions in our life based upon individuals we don't even know or don't even give a fuck about us. You know, and that's why I got to promote and advocate for the people. As far as, you know, if you have the opportunity to get out there on parole, you know, or go to rehab and re-enter society and make changes for your life, you take control of your life. Nobody else. Don't let nobody think for you. Don't worry about what others have to say about you, because at the end of the day, it's what you feel in your heart. And be loyal to those that are loyal to you, because it's a cutthroat game in this world, man. You know, people will sit there and you know, use you as a stepping stone, then step on you later on. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, people will think only about themselves and their loved ones, not yours. You know what I'm saying? And I've experienced that a lot, you know, over the last few years, and I still try to help people. I don't turn my back. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've had people who've, you know, I've started them out in life in different things. I've had people who, when something happened bad to them, I had one, you know, homeboy call me at like 2 o'clock in the morning when he couldn't get a hold of nobody else. Nobody answered his call, and his son had just got shot and was pronounced dead. I was on the phone with him to cater him. I've had another person, you know what I mean, where they're home, and this was a person who was a former enemiga, called me up and was really depressed about their homeboy, you know, being killed. Who was there on the phone with them? I was. Who took the time to check on them? I did. Right? And see, people forget the good nature of how the deeds that you do sometimes, man. But you can't let that offset who you are. If you're a good person, you live by that code of conduct. You help others. You be altruistic. Because more times than not, when you come into these streets, there's going to be those that are going to be affected by what goes on politically on the streets, that maybe are not as loyal as they seem. Maybe they have a short attention span, or maybe they're only worried about themselves. You know what I mean? Because real ones are going to step to the forefront and always do what's right. And they're going to give loyalty where loyalty is necessary. But don't always expect it in return. You know what I'm saying? And understand that everybody has different things that are going on in their life that they have to make choices for themselves. You know, and you know, this is for men out there that are coming out there. You know, that's why it's important to limit your associations, even your past friendships. Because there's a saying, if you hang around the barbershop, you're eventually going to get that haircut. So if you're hanging around out with old friends, gang members over and over again, eventually you're going to go dive back in those activities. Eventually you're going to be worried about what others think about you. You know, and this is a true statement. You need to decide in yourself what you want from in life. Do you want to have longevity, freedom, a family, the gifts of living a life free? Family, vacations, memories. You know, what is life in general? Life is nothing more than memories we share with our family and loved ones. And when we're back in prison, worried about all that, the only memories we're having is being in a fucking, basically locked up in some confines that are fucking the worst that any human being should have to go through. So think about that before you make those choices. And never let anyone sit there and influence you and what you feel in your heart and what you do. If people treat you right, then you treat them right. Don't forget where you come from, but at the same time, remember where you're headed. And sometimes not forgetting where you come from will help you not make the wrong choices and repeat the same cycle of events that happens over and over again with this life, man. You know, I'm all about helping anybody that needs help. I've done that. I've proven that. You know what I'm saying? Others need to take heed and do the same thing if they want to change that life. And this is a very broad statement, because I see people come out or have gotten at me and they want to help, be positive and this and that, but then they still allow outside influences to infiltrate their thinking process, their choices, their decisions, when at the end of the day it's basically a bully mentality that's occurring upon them. You know, bullies is basically oppressing your people. You're suppressing an individual from making his own personal choice. Nobody should ever have that much power or sway over you, ever. Excuse me, my phone does that sometimes. And this is just me generalizing a lot of things that I've experienced, you know, within the YouTube world as well, because a lot of things that I've experienced since changing my life have happened on YouTube. You know, I still have people that are affected by me or whatnot and feel like they have to make choices or distance themselves because of it. Well, either you respect me for who I am today as a man, or you don't. Whatever I've done in my past does not affect you. People can really quickly say that, well, I don't agree that, he's doing this or doing that in their past. You wouldn't walk those shoes. And until one walks those shoes, then you can judge a man. And that goes for anybody coming out after doing 10, 20 years, 3 years. Don't let anybody have that much power or sway over who you are as a person. Don't let that crime that you committed 20 years ago define you as today. And that's what I'm getting at. We can't let things define us as well. We can't let things affect us. We can't let things control us once we get out. Because only you control your life. Nobody else. And if you give someone that much power, people are going to look at you as having a feeble mind. And I used to be one of those ones that would give, the power over my life and future, which affected my family, over to an organization. They came first. I seen where that led me. I seen where it led other people. So now every step I've ever made in my life, therefore, is a choice that I made up on my own. Therefore, whether it was legal or illegal, I can accept the consequences of my actions and what I do. I can accept them today. If the last 10 years, if I was doing anything illegal, I could accept anything. If whether I got 10 years or a life sentence, I would have accepted it because you know what? I decided to do that up on my own free will. No one else sat there and influenced me. Same thing when you get out there in life. Don't let the external forces affect you and bring you down a whole different path. Don't let the gang call you back and say, hey, we need you to kick it. You don't have to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your ex-friends or your ex that are on drugs or doing this and that try to bring you in the fold of things. You take control of your life and you take control of your destiny. And this is the truth of how you should live your life. With that said, Fellas to Man Podcast, once again, I'm out.